Is our body detached from this world or not? What will happen to our cells and particles after death? What is clear is that our body is also a part of this universe. As we proved in the previous video, our body and all its constituent particles have physicality, movement, and rationality. We are made up of very intelligent existential particles, which, as far as we know, have taken shape from the early embryonic period and have formed and organized our existential parts with very high precision, at the level of cells and even smaller particles. When we did not exist in the past, these super-intelligent particles shaped this set of our existence like the brain, heart, eyes, etc. During our lifetime, when we are in this world, they are doing the same and know how to keep this body healthy, balanced, logical, and free from excess and deficiency so that we are healthy. And in the period after we leave this world, these particles will act differently. After we have passed this stage of life, these intelligent particles go for their next missions and continue their mission and duty. The interesting thing is that they are so intelligent and know their job that they exactly know what to do. Just as they shaped the heart and brain during the embryonic period and saved us from many dangers and diseases during our lifetime. In the next phase that we go, these smart tiny particles know what to do. We don't have much information. As we see based on biological knowledge and field observations and research, this body after we leave this world will collapse and its particles each return to the same original source they were, but with a new set of information, with new experiences. How we live in that next life, what its dimensions are, naturally many parts of it have not yet been able to answer science. But in mystical schools and cognitive fields, they talk a lot about this, including the teachings of Suhravadi, who says that after we leave this stage, we start a life of light. That is, this physical part weakens and the light part strengthens. The more we adapt ourselves to the light here, the more luminous and radiant we will be in the next life. According to recent scientific research during the final moments of life, numerous biological changes occur in the human body. One of these changes is the activation of certain systems in the body that only activate at the time of death. One of these systems relates to a hormone called DMT. This hormone is secreted only twice during life, once at birth and once at death. So if we recognize these super-intelligent existential particles and let them act in our body and do not create any obstacles for them with our mind and our old beliefs, these super-intelligent particles can be self-healing more than any specialist doctor and more than a skilled physician. That is, they repair and recreate themselves, they re-nurture themselves, and keep us ready for a better life, for newer conditions always fresh and ready. Let's hear the continuation of the discussion of these smart, tiny particles in the language of Professor Danesh.
One of the points that can be discussed about the intelligent microstructural particles of us in the universe is the point regarding the movement and agitation of our elementary particles. These elementary particles, which the existence of human beings is not fixed upon, are constantly in motion and undergoing change. This change and transformation sometimes occur within us, shaping us, and sometimes outside of us, shaping the universe. In the theory of quantum entanglement, we are not separate from the universe, and according to the perspective of my teacher, he stated that we are the core of the universe. This means that if they plant us, a world will be born from us. Discovering the relationship between us and the essence of being, which takes the form of core and tree, is truly an enlightening thought from my teacher, which can be very inspiring. What's interesting is that Rumi also beautifully touches on this issue. In my examination of the Mathnawi, I came across very beautiful topics and verses, for which there isn't much opportunity and space to elaborate on, but I mentioned some of them so that you know where we have stood in terms of thought, the perspective on human existence in the human world over the past 800 years. Rumi's thoughts align remarkably well with quantum theory, speaking about the movements of elementary particles and their agitation. Nothing is constant or permanent. Everything is in a state of change and eternal progression. This eternal change means moving in accordance with what God has presented, not in a wild and irrational way that fundamentally lacks justification. The particles continuously bind with other particles until all the ground and skies become apparent. Nowadays, in cosmological opinions and in the formation of galaxies, we are faced with these concepts in the field of astrophysics. Rumi continue, so that until we came, through knowledge and experience, we have coined names and meanings for each. The particles broke away from each other, then joined in a different form again. This poem by Rumi evokes the same state of resurrection and dissemination, or maybe you can say dispersal and gathering. The particles broke away from each other, the state of dissemination. Again, they joined with a different form, the state of resurrection. Let's continue with Rumi's poem. We see particles that from their combination, hundreds of thousands of suns became apparent. Hundreds of thousands of God's order and law is the apparent cause of these suns. O low and worthless and valueless earth, with all your mountains and seas, what you have in the way of the galaxy, from relationships or from planets, all their combination is from these particles. Until one day you will separate from each other. These intelligent particles that Rumi talks about in the birth of galaxies, in the formation of planets and stars, in the creation of the suns and moons, and in the formation of all particles of existence in a fascinating way. The intelligence of these particles is common in all these chapters. It means that the particles that make up the universe and the particles that make us up share a common attribute, which is their high intelligence. We can utilize this intelligence in the intricate structures within us for growth, for relieving ourselves of pains, problems, and dilemmas, for freeing ourselves from external factors that could influence human life and be linked to an eternity. So what Rumi's words convey is that we are part of a caravan of intelligent and superintelligent particles. The intelligent particles have formed the universe of existence, and the superintelligent particles have been so much smarter that they have become the constituents of our being instead of being mere cosmic bodies like the stars, moons, and Earth. They selected the representative of God to be a part of that structure. Therefore, they are more intelligent, so we are facing a truly amazing phenomenon of the intelligence of the particles of the universe, in which we float within all of them. It's like swimming in an ocean of superintelligent and intelligent particles, and we are embarking on an eternal journey. We are moving towards the intelligence of the universe of existence, towards distancing ourselves from the mental ego, towards evolution, towards achieving divine goals, towards spiritual awakening, abstaining from war, abstaining from conflict, abstaining from jealousy, abstaining from backbiting, abstaining from resistance, abstaining from stubbornness, abstaining from self-worship, and abstaining from all that the intelligent system of the universe despises. And these are not part of the rationality of the universe of existence. These are part of the mental ego's thoughts that sometimes employ these particles with all their intelligence for a while. But these particles will continue their path, their eternal journey.